Tonight, we are introducing Forward Focus through a meeting with stakeholders in the community. We're looking at issues that impact you. At the roundtable discussion, where cameras and microphones weren't present, Mid-MichiganNow sat down with people and talked about what many are faced with every day in the community. For our first story tonight, we're focusing on housing. Right now, the state of Michigan is suffering from a housing shortage statewide. There's about 119,000 housing units short of where the state needs to be for the current population. According to the Michigan State Housing Development Authority, and for places like Genesee County, there's 7,000 less units than what is actually needed. The lack of housing has a ripple effect, and the issues didn't just start overnight. In tonight's Forward Focus, we look at the insufficient housing supply and what can be done to help alleviate this burden to so many people and what they're faced with.
The housing crisis here is significant. We are seeing homelessness numbers rising because of it.
It's becoming a real problem. I know it's a problem everywhere, but it's very acute here in our town.
According to data from the Genesee County Metropolitan Planning Commission, the lack of affordable housing has caused demand to skyrocket. Census data reveals there are a little more than 164,000 housing units available in Genesee County. However, indications from survey results reveal it doesn't meet the need of the population.
17% of our county lives in poverty. And so the need for low-income housing is huge.
The county's Metropolitan Planning Commission says a significant amount of households spend 30% of their income on housing. Shelly Hoffman, the vice president and chief operating officer at the Shelter of Flint, says monthly rent or mortgage payments are a hardship for many people. There's a team at the shelter who works with people in need of someplace to live. A lot of times, the only money coming in is from Social Security.
But those are $900 and some a month, and typically rent is a third of a person's income, and most landlords won't rent to someone unless they have 3 times the income as the rent. And there's nowhere to rent for $300 and some around here.
According to data last year, there was a drastic increase in the cost of housing. Looking at information from the census, in 2009, the median rent contract was $537. In 2020, that increased by 12%. Housing has a domino effect.
How important is the access to affordable housing for people?
I mean, I think it kind of covers everything, right? I mean, how can you be healthy if you don't have a safe place to go home to? How can your kids learn in school if they don't have a safe place to come home at night?
How did the county get here? Jim Ananich, the president and CEO of the Greater Flint Health Coalition, says the issue developed over time.
I think it's just years of this problem, kind of building up, and the economy is just really rough right now. So folks are really feeling it.
And it even impacts employers.
They have a hard time attracting employees because there's not places for them to live near where they're going to work.
Having affordable and attainable housing is foundational to meeting all the other goals the state has, like retaining people. Amy Hovey is the CEO and executive director of the Michigan State Housing Development Authority. She says there are multiple things driving this issue.
We have less people living in each housing unit because we have an aging population. So where you might have had a family of 6 in a single family home, now maybe just the parents are left in that home and those kids are now looking for other places to live.
There's also been an increase in short-term rentals across the state. And in many communities, Hovey says they've demolished a number of aging and blighted homes.
And we haven't quite caught up to replacing all of those units. During the recession, we lost folks in our construction industry, which slowed down building permits, and we're just struggling to catch up.
The state hasn't always had a shortage of homes. Hovey says at one time, General Motors and Ford Motor Company developed homes for their workers.
In the city of Flint, there are neighborhoods that were created by GM in response to that housing shortage, but we certainly have had times within our state where we haven't seen such a shortage of housing.
Right now, the cost to develop housing is not what Michigan families can afford, Hovey tells me. However, they are seeing employers become interested in development.
We work hand in hand with employers and match the money that they want to put into housing. So they are engaged now because it's impacting economic development and workforce development in our state.
Slowly, the state is catching up with an increase in funding.
Do you think back in 2022, we only invested $700 million in housing in the state? And then in 2025, it was $2.6 billion.
The money is from both the federal and state government. It was made available to address the housing shortage.
We went from 190,000 units short to 119,000 units short. I hope when you talk to me next year, we're at only 70,000 units short.
The Michigan State Housing Development Authority reports they helped more than 32,000 households across the state obtain and maintain their homes last year.